For anybody who plays on PC client, if you didn't notice it in the last patch notes, they did just recently add keyboard controls to the game, so we can take a look at all of the keyboard controls, and then we can also talk a bit about like how good they are, what else is missing. Let's get into it. First things first, if you want to just look at all of the keybinds, you can see them here in your settings in this tab here. There's kind of a lot though, so I'm just going to go over them. Might make it a bit easier to process. The big thing is if you press your left alt key, does it work with either alt key? Nope, it has to be your left alt key. You can see any sort of active keybinds that are available for you. So we'll go over the ones when you're not in battle, then we can talk about the ones in battle as well. And the main thing is just pretty much everything that is like frequently on here can be tapped. You can see here N for notifications, I for inventory, M for mail, Enter for the chat bar, Tab to open this thing here is all pretty consistent. One interesting thing is you can see here when you open Tab, there's G for Orbis Guide, I guess G for Guide, C for Hero, U for Guild, and K for Workshop, and O for Settings. These are actually active even if your tab is closed. So here, if I press, let's do Steel Workshop because I don't have it bound down here. If I press K on my keyboard, it opens the Steel Workshop. And then once you're in the actual like little things, you don't have any binds unfortunately. It's only for general stuff, but we can press Escape to back out. Down here is a little bit counterintuitive because it's reverse number order, because I guess this is the order that you put them in. But if you're playing on keyboard, because we have Orbis Guide, Hero, and Guild bound in tab already, like I can just press G, C, or U to enter those things, you might want to consider swapping these three things out on your favorites bar. It's something else just so you have more things you can access with your keybinds. Secret Shop is S, P for Pass, E for Event. And then just 1 through 6 on the side here. Pretty basic stuff. The only thing really worth like mentioning is just being able to press the buttons for these, I guess, 5 keys, even with the tab not being open. So that's pretty useful. And then let's take a look at the battle first, and then we can talk a bit more about how the keybinds are. So I'll do a couple of arena hits, and I can just use this to show the way the button mapping works in the battles. So first things first, when you want to check your CR bar, you can press Tab. Tab will open up the detailed CR bar, and then to get out of here, you press Escape. Of course, the chat bar still works if you press Enter. You can hold down Alt and you can see everything. The big thing to be careful of is your abilities 1, 2, and 3 are bound to Q, W, and E. Like, I want to use 3 to S3 here, right? If I press 3, I'm going to S1 into ML Arunka instead. I actually don't think I would lose here, just based off the way this works. But in some situations that might grief you, just remember it's QWE in order to select your abilities. So this is how you select it. And you can also see it's a bit weirder because it's ML Runka, so we can't target anybody else, but based on their positioning in the CR bar, the little number above their head is what you would normally see. And then you can press the number in order to hit them. And for abilities that target allies, that we only have team-wide ones here, it also goes by their CR bar, the little number above their head. And you can just press that number to select them. In order to use the ability, you either press the number, like if I press 1, 2, 3, 4, any of them works. This is team-wide ability, or you could just double tap E. And here, when you want the soul burn, if you press space, you can soul burn, and now I can just press 3. So here I can, okay, I almost died there. I pressed 3 instead of E, but luckily ML Runka got pushed ahead of ML Hwayoung. So we're going to actually press E this time. Okay, well, no, I wouldn't have died. It would have been fine, even if I hit on Maruka. It's just I would not have used Beat on S3. And here we're going to press E. Can't soul burn it because of Bellion. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for the PvP ones, and we can go do a PvE stage and take a look at that too. What should we do? Let's go into a labyrinth. Why is this back at 99%? Oh, whatever. I guess I'll do this one. So one thing is when you are here, you can actually select the your directions. They don't show it on the keybinds, but WASD, I guess they should make it pop up. WASD corresponds to west, north, southeast. So if I press D here, I'll go. You can also just like control if you're going left or right. If I press A here, I move backwards. And here, if I press A, I go left, press D to go right. You can control your direction here based off of that. And let's TP to the boss. So one thing is, this doesn't really matter, but we might as well mention everything. If you press M, it'll bring up the map, and you can see the map here. You press escape to close out. Pretty much the keybinds are the same. You can see there's actually 5 now, because there's more enemies. It goes up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on their position. Then, again, we S3. I'm not going to do this whole fight, but last thing to mention is just if you want to use your Guardian, you can press O, and that's pretty much it. It's like the only like extra thing here compared to doing it in PvP. And this is the thing, I pressed 3 instead of E, so that is mildly confusing. It's crossing the wires in my head because I just call them S1, S2, S3, and I keep on pressing 3. So that's it for all of the keybinds. They're honestly not bad. I think it's nice that they're somewhat dynamic, where like if you're using a skill, depending if it's your team or the enemy team, like the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. I do wish we could just customize them, because like re-rolling Secret Shop, like I've talked about using BlueStacks to have keybinds so you can just roll the whole shop without having to actually like click anything, like move your mouse, that kind of stuff. It would be nice to be able to do it here. It doesn't seem like the dynamic thing I was talking about, where it changes depending on what you're doing, applies outside of battle. So they could honestly just make it so if you're in the secret shop, your keybinds completely change, and then it's just like set to the keybinds for rerolling secret shop, that kind of thing. Also some stuff like, it might be better if we don't have this honestly, but things like buttons to like enter the fights, like turn off quick battle, turn on quick match, enter the fight, though it might be better if we don't have that, because another like the main issue I think is also just there's no way to turn off the keybinds. So you might have issues where you accidentally press the key and then suddenly you're in the fight, but we don't have a button to enter the fight anyways. That could still be an issue when you're actually like in battle. If you normally don't play with keybinds, you accidentally press a key or something, and you end up just hitting the wrong target, that could be annoying. They should probably add a way to turn this off. I couldn't find any way to turn it off. Maybe there is one, I just don't see it. Either way, the keybinds are nice. Pretty relevant where there's an upcoming event that is unplayable on PC unless you have keybinds, which I might talk about later, but hopefully they're going to, or I'm expecting that one of the reasons we have keybinds is so we can actually play that event on PC. So we'll see how that one goes. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.